Today, we're going to explain loan preparation, provide you with a checklist for the documents that you need for your loan, and we're going to discuss self-employment. So Tracy, what would you like to start with today to share with all the buyers out there and help them prepare?
Yes, I get this question a lot, and we want to keep it short and simple, and so that you can know what you're going to need to be pre-approved for a loan and have that everything ready so that when you hit that application button, we just take it away from there.
Excellent. So I'm going to share with everyone the first document that might assist. Could you explain that, Tracy, and share that?
Okay, so this is an overview of what you're going to need to prepare for that pre-approval loan application. Of course, have those documents ready. Income documents, asset documents, bank statements. Like Tamela said, we're going to give you a checklist at the end. It's a super great document. You can print that out, refer back to it, and you will need it for any type of mortgage loan. So stay tuned so you can see that checklist. Obviously, by doing so, you're getting pre-qualified / pre-approved upfront. And yes, you do need all these documents to have a true pre-approval to go out looking for properties. I get this asked a lot, Tamela, is why do I need all these documents? Well, would you rather provide them later and find out, oops, maybe you're not pre-approved for that amount you thought you were approved for? So very important.
Let's talk about that for just a moment. Let's tell people what the difference is between a pre-qualification and a pre-approval.
A pre-qualification and a pre-approval really can depend on the lender you're working with. I consider both the same, as I've been in this industry a long time. And when I say that, is a true qualification is providing those documents we just talked about. We want to see full income documents, your full bank statements, and we have to review that credit so that you get no surprises later on.
So when presenting an offer to a listing agent and working with a buyer, many times they want to see a pre-approval. So you go all the way through the process of pulling credit and everything up front. It's not just based on what the conversation is with the buyer, correct?
Absolutely correct. We don't just take information over the phone. We look at those documents, we analyze the documents. You know, being in this industry a long time, I know how processing works. I know what the underwriter is going to want. The underwriter is that person, right, that actually makes the final decision. So I have to know what he or she needs so that I can prepare my buyers to have no surprises later on, like we talked about.
Absolutely. And when presenting an offer, that gives us a leg up. If typically as a listing agent, if I see a pre-qualification come in, that typically means to me that the buyer probably has just given verbal information. So what you do is that next step, and that's really important for buyers to know, because that truly gives buyers the opportunity to get in there and get their offer accepted, especially in a competitive market. So let me get back to that. Excellent. All right, let me go back to that slide for us one more time so that we can go through the next part. There we go.
Look at that third one there. Find the right real estate agent. And who would that be but the best Tamela Staubs right there. So we don't need to look any further. There she is. The reason for this preparation is, of course, to see what payment that the buyer can afford. And that is called PITI. Okay, acronyms are great in my business. So what does that mean? That's to find out your true total payment, your principal and interest of your loan, the taxes in the loan, and the insurance in the loan. And there's actually also an HOA in a lot of these, scenarios. So that's why it's so important to look at all the documents and see what they qualify for that full payment. And like we said, we're going to look at your credit, your income. When it says current bills, we're really just looking at what's going to show on the credit report. We really aren't going to ask you about your insurance payments and things of that nature. As a qualified mortgage officer, I am going to look at the best programs and rates I can offer my buyers. and visit a lender you can trust. Here I am, right? Your trusted real estate agent, your trusted lender. Boom, you've already got two pieces of the puzzle.
Absolutely. And that is so important. I agree. So this is a great list. Would you like to go on to self-employed at this point?
Yes, let's do that real quickly. I just want to bring this up because so many people are self-employed, and I get asked the question again, well, if I'm not just a W-2, what do I have to provide? And that is 2 years of tax returns are going to be reviewed. And that is business returns, personal returns, and we are looking at how long the person's been in business. Now, for me, what we do here at Tropical is we look at the whole picture, right? We don't all have to have the 2 years. I asked for 2 years because I want to see the best picture to present for my buyer. Like, was the most recent year the most important? Is averaging 2 years the best? So that's why it's important to look at the 2 years returns, but we might be able to just use the most recent return.
Now, a question, does a profit and loss, do you need that as well when you're doing the approval, or is it only that 2 years worth of tax returns?
We do get a profit and loss. Great question. Now, the profit and loss is not used in income calculation, okay? What it's actually used for is to see where is the stability of the business. So, for instance, right now, we're almost in October of 2021. So 19 and 20's returns may not be reflective of now. So we will ask for the profit and loss to see that the business is still maintaining that growth. So yes, great question.
Okay, excellent. So we've covered quite a few things already. That's great.
We sure have. Are we ready for that checklist?
Absolutely, if you're ready. All right, so let's go on to our checklist. Let's see here, our next slide. Okay.
Okay, I actually had this particular checklist made up in our marketing department. We didn't even have one until I came on board. And I think it's super important, you know, for agents to have to give to their buyers, for me as a lender to give out. At our branches, I have these flyers, and anything that pertains to you is on this checklist. For instance, your pay stubs we're going to look at for the next most recent 30 days. We need the W-2 forms. Here we are talking about tax returns for the self-employed. We will look at all sources of income like child support. If you receive alimony, we're going to be looking at all of those types of documents. We're going to be looking at, of course, the purchase contract when it comes in, the bank statements for the last 2 months. We use all your investment accounts if you have those. We need to look at your homeowner's insurance quote if it's a purchase, or if you're refinancing, we need to see the policy. Refinancing, we need the mortgage statement. The HOA, that's a homeowners association, payment coupon, that's really for refinance as well. And then, of course, driver's license and social security card.
And let's talk about something else that may not be on this list. So if someone is buying a property there for a long time, and you've been in this a long time as well, so we both share a long tenure in the business, a gift fund. Yes. So if someone is working on their down payment, let's say maybe it's their first home as an example, a lot of times first time home buyers, and let's say a relative chooses to give them $10,000 as an easy number towards their down payment for the property. How does that work with your company? Could you explain a little bit about that? Because I think that's a question that comes up quite a bit. People go, well, I don't have the down payment, or someone wants to give them, it's a gift.
Okay. Gift funds are a great source for, can be used for down payment, closing costs. What you need to know is it has to be a close family member. So not just anyone can gift that person the money, okay? Your neighbor can't gift it, okay? It has to be a family member. You know, that can also be adoptive, step parent, stepchild, any type of family situation. So with gift funds, the way that works is they complete a gift letter, which we provide to them. It's a very letter which says basically we're gifting, we're not loaning. And the only other part of that is they can send those funds right to the closing company. And by doing that, we avoid having to get any bank statements from that donor, get into their business, because that's an issue, right? A lot of people want to give, a gift to their granddaughter or their son, and they say, I don't want to give my bank statement and show all my information. So I've learned that I can get around that by just having them wire it to the title company. So that is a really good note to take away. Do not have the gift money deposited before the application. Don't have it during the application. We don't want to see it. We just want it straight to the title company.
That's a really amazing pro tip, because that really goes back to, for years, I remember for years it causing a delay or trying to guide people with that, because they would have a relative that may want to give them that gift. So it makes a lot of sense. So listen in, everyone out there who's watching this. That was a great pro tip right there. So is there anything else?
Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah. Well, it's little things. I think that this is the important part of sharing all of this, because there's things that you and I have come through that sometimes as a newer agent, you might not even know about, or a newer in the mortgage. A lot of this, even though we can get a lot of degrees in the world, right? Many degrees in different areas. Real estate for me, and I imagine mortgage for you as well, any aspect of it, it's been an on-the-job training. We have learned all of this through the years, and that's what gives us that opportunity to guide people to really go on a smooth path, to be able, so especially like if I'm out, I'm working with a buyer, we're having a conversation, they're like, oh, grandma said she could give me X, Y, Z. Well, then I know, because of our conversation, and with this video now, here's the path that we can do this to save you time, to save you some of the effort, and to save grandma from having to expose herself when she may not want to.
Absolutely. Yes, I was able to learn this process. Like you say, I've been doing this a long time. We both have. I love finding these little tips, to bring up. And you're absolutely right. You can get degrees in many things. And we have to have licenses, right? We have to go to classes for those. Okay. However, you might learn this in the book, but guess what? There's real world application. So I actually have to go next month, renew my license. And the instructor says all the time, this is what the book says, but in real world, this is what happens. So yes, in the past, we would have had to get 2 months bank statements from the donor. We'd have to see, the name at the top, and, it always caused an issue, because you're right. It's exposing them to their privacy is exposed.
Absolutely. Now, going back to your checklist, I will be attaching that for everyone who's watching. That'll be attached below. We'll have a link for that. We might even turn that into like a landing page or something like that, where you can fill out some information so that can be sent to you, email. You can always reach out to us. All of our information will be below, and I typically put it across the bottom of the screen as well. So let's go to that, Tracy. How can people find you? How can they reach you? What's the best way? How do you like to communicate?
I love to communicate by whatever makes that person comfortable. So, right, you can call me. I give everybody my work cell phone, which you can text me there as well. I always say, if I don't pick up right away, text me. And of course, good old email. We do have locations around South Florida. So if someone wants an in-person meeting, hey, I'm open to that too.
Excellent.
And to reach me, my number is 954-350-2638. And my email is my first initial T for Tracy. And I have a hard last name, Siebald. So it's TSIEBALD @tfc-fl.org. And I look forward to anybody calling, texting, emailing. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Absolutely. So is there any other little tip that you can think of that you might like to share that might be just a moment?
Tip that I'll say is that we are going to continue to do this in the future. And I think our next class will be about credit, right? Everybody wants to know, what do you need for the score? What do I need to do about credit? And that will be on our next one.
And that is extremely important, because your credit score also dictates what your interest rate is many times. Am I correct about that?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So that's going to be a great video. All right. Well, thank you so much, Tracy. And we'll say bye for now until our next video.
Bye, everybody.